Welcome back to episode 2 of the Pursuit of Par. I managed to get a full 18 holes in at my local course this time around. It was a twilight round, which is a first for me, and also, no surprises here, it was my first round shooting on camera. So there were some rough edges, but ultimately lots of lessons learnt. Some on the golf side of things, some on the filming side of things. To be completely upfront, did not get close to breaking 100. There's a lot of shots to look from, a lot of shots to learn from, but some great putts, some great driving mixed in amongst those mistakes. So learning points and positive points. I'm not going to dilly-dally around anymore. Let's jump straight into the round and we'll go over our thoughts as we go and at the end. So I knew this second shot needed to get up the lip that you see on the right side of the screen there, and while I did land on it, it did not slow it as much as I thought, and it rolled way off the front edge of the green again. Not happy with the Texas wedge off the edge, but very happy with the second putt that leaves it with a tap in. Double bogey on the first isn't ideal, but it's fine for breaking 100. This first shot is a perfect example of why I have an entire week dedicated to 5 hybrid practice. That, I don't even know what went wrong with the swing. Normally my irons are okay there. Here, I had the right idea and I'm happy that I was trying to do the right thing, get back into the middle of the fairway, not worry about distance too much, but it just came out so incredibly right that it left me with this tricky shot by the trees. Tried to play it again safe and low, but it just duffed it all the way left across. Thankfully I found it, but then duffed it in towards the green again. Just did not give it enough to get up that hill here. I think this being my second hole ever on camera, being a bit nervous about making sure I got the round done before the sun went down, I just rushed almost every shot on this hole. Not unhappy with that first putt, didn't leave me too much to finish with, and I cleaned it up. Third hole, absolute cracker off the tee. I don't think I've ever hit my 6-iron so well, and as a result, even though this is a 185 yard hole, it ran long off the back. Pick up my pitching wedge to get back on the green. Don't hate that, but it didn't kick forward quite as much as I would have liked, and it ended up with still having another little chip on, which I just didn't give enough. I was too scared of pushing it long and kept it short. That I'm very happy with. Nearly went in, didn't go out too long on the far side. Clean it up with a horrendous putt. Make that 2 horrendous putts. After I thought I'd gotten over the second hole jitters and the rushing I had there, this putting really set me straight. After the jitters of the first 3 holes are out of the way, get the big stick out for the first time on the 4th hole and hit an absolute dream. Bullet straight, right down the middle, good height, rolled all the way, and when I get down there, found that it managed to miss the fairway bunker by centimetres. Get out the 6-iron to get it the rest of the way in. Might have even been the 7-iron actually, and then somehow completely fat that. Thankfully it still had the distance on it, so I got it greenside, but completely duffed the chip, whack it across the entire length of the green, and then have to roll it all the way back with the Texas wedge. Ultimately, I'm not unhappy with the weight on that, but the aim was just way off. It went far right, and I still left myself with a very tricky second putt to get this in, which I just don't think I read anywhere near enough. That was never going in. And I followed it up with another horrendous putt. I definitely rushed both of those. Riding high on the great drive from the last hole, get the big stick out again, immediately hook it hard left straight into the trees. Thankfully, I see it land, and by some miracle, I found it. So drop it back right in the edge of the rough. Do get a 6-iron out for another good shot up the rest of the fairway. It still only goes about half the way, but it leaves me about 100 yards in after clipping that trees, and it's a nice line. Get the pitching wedge out, very comfortable at this range from here, and the distance is perfect. Unfortunately, it lands a little bit on the right-hand side of the green and kicks out right down to the far edge. Try and chip it back and across, nearly kill my camera person, but we do get it back in play. And then in being too scared of doing exactly the same thing again from the other side of the green, I don't get it far enough with my first chip, and then I overroll it with the second chip as it just goes long past the hole.
Again, just silly little short game mistakes. Step up for putt, and then it doesn't break at all. Cleans up with a 2-putt, technically. Sixth hole, 307 yards, but it's downhill. If I drive this and it connects, I'm going off the back of the green. So I think I'll get my 6-iron because my 5 hybrid and my 5 wood are still too unreliable to land. So I'll get my 6-iron out and have that roll. And it worked out nicely. Gave me a 200-yard shot off the tee, leaves me with 100 yards in to the green. Being downhill, again, I get the sand wedge out instead of the pitching wedge. And, well, you've just seen these last 2 shots. Absolutely horrific display. I'm trying to go 100 yards here. It's taken 2 shots and I'm still not close. For some reason I switched down to 60 to go for the third one. Still doesn't get far enough. Then I finally get a good connection, finally have the bounce on my side and it rolls onto the green. But it's just taken me 4 shots to go 100 yards. Set up for the putt and finally I string it together. Seemingly forgetting how bad my big sig went on the 5th, get it back out on the 7th, and just again hook it straight round to the left. First ball lost. Here, I'm thinking I'll go over it. I'll get the pitching wedge out, won't go for distance, just get it up and over. Topped it, straight in the bush, another one lost. 5 wood. Now you see why that needs practice. It's just like my 5 hybrid. But this time I stick with it, go for it again. What a peach. It does go a little bit right because we're downhill and then it kicks at the bottom even more right, so it gets it down to underneath that tree, but I do find it. Sets me up with just under 100 yards to go in and I get a big, great shot out of my pitching wedge to get it up onto the edge of the green, but it just doesn't quite get up the final step of hill. Lovely bump and run though, gets me there. Gets me right up onto the green. There is a lip halfway. This is on a second shelf. I get it up the lip and land it to within 10 feet. And you just can't quite give it the putt it deserves to put it away. But it is a nice clean 2-putt. So a good finish, even if it was a bumpy ride to get there. For some reason, I still have enough confidence to get the big stick out. And to be fair, I was right this time. While I was a little bit right of my aim point, I'd set it up to give myself that as a margin for error, and it still lands with a beautiful line into the green and a good iron shot to follow it up. Actually keeps me going exactly where I want to. These first 2 shots could not have been better, in my personal opinion, or in my level of play rather. This chip, however, definitely going to add more on it. I just was too scared of going off the back of the green and ending up on the next tee box, so I set myself up with another chip. And again, I just stop, I don't follow through, it doesn't roll out, doesn't get close enough to the flag to really help me save too much of a respectable score. But I finally slowed down on my putts, I'm not rushing into them. This is the longest one of the day so far. So I'm taking my time, I'm reading it out, feeling the break. And I don't think there's a whole lot to it. There's a little bit, I think it goes to the left at the end, but we put it to within a foot. I'm very, very happy with that. Very unlucky to not go in, but ultimately a strong finish to another bumpy hole. They're all bumpy holes, but a good wrap up. 9th hole. I've never put it on the green with my first shot here before. This time, I do hit the green with the first bounce. It pitches and rolls off the back. Go for a little bump and run back on. It's downhill at this point. Camera doesn't really show it very well, but this will show how downhill it is. I feel this is very mean for a course that's meant to be a bit beginner friendly like the Oaks. Go for a Texas wedge, perhaps a ballsy play, give it some wallop, and it just doesn't get up the hill enough. I was scared of giving it too much and going too far, but also trying to get it over the rough stuff that was on the edge. But yeah, ultimately made the wrong choice. And that was unfortunate. It could have gone in, but frankly, the first putt should have been better. Once again, 6-iron off the tee, because we don't trust our longer clubs and it's too short for a driver. And a good connection, but bad aim, and we're straight into the bushes on the left. Do lose the ball, have to drop on the far side, get an iron out, and this one, I forget exactly which club it was, but it was perfect distance. It landed right on the front edge of the green, it pitched, and I thought it was going to stop, but it didn't. It just rolled all the way off the back edge. Go for a nice little flop though, and we are laughing. Lands it to within 2 feet of the flag over my camera person's head, and it leaves us with an easy cleanup. Shame about the lost ball. The big stick's back, and we're feeling good about it this time. We set it up, we take our time. Smoked. Second best of the day so far after only the 4th hole. We are feeling it again. We are heading right on up there. This hole is deceptive. Makes you think like you've got a lot of space on the right, but it's actually very hard to keep it over to the right. But we get it under the trees on the left, get a slightly fortunate lie in the dirt, manage to get a good connection, but it's not enough distance to get it all the way to the flag. So definitely feeling a bit short on that front. However, this chip landed wonderfully, puts us right in the middle of the green. Gives us a long putt, but we have done well from here earlier on in the day, so we're feeling good about it. We roll it on forward, doesn't quite get as close as it should have done, but it's still not the worst. And we've sunk putts from here in the past, so we step on up. And perhaps, I think, rush this a little bit too much. Don't give ourselves the time to line it up and pay the price. Thankfully, however, didn't do too bad on the weighting. Clean it up. 12th hole here at the Oaks is a bit of a signature for him. Par 3, down the valley, up the other side. I've used a variety of clubs here and still can't find the right distance for me. This time I went with an 8 iron and somehow managed to skim it low along the floor, bounce it down off the cart path on this side, up the other side, rolled all the way across the green and off to that back right side, but did dodge the bunker. Being scared of how much of a hill this was on, my chip was awful. You can see from that line I took there how much it rolls back down again, but again I just didn't give it enough. I'm too scared of it rolling way too out of control on the far side, and you can see it's still moving here as I walk up to it. Go for this putt, rolls the furthest way, and unfortunately we lose battery on the cameras at this point, so I don't kick it here, thankfully, but I do take 3 more putts to finish this off. Camera battery is resolved and the big stick's back. Feeling good after the last time we used it. Feeling good again. Another bullet straight shot, however, unfortunately again, the aim not quite right, so instead of staying nice and clean down the middle of the fairway, we're off to the right hand side, but saved by this raised lip. I'm pretty good at shooting shots with the ball is above my feet now. I don't know why I'm so naturally good at that, but that was a stonker and gets me on the green in 2. Long putt brings us in very close, and ultimately I'm super happy with this hole and my first par of the day. Par 5, so the big stick's back, but it's in a good spot now, so we're no longer worried about it, and rightfully so. Bigger swing, straight down the middle. Love it. I also, last time I played here, did exactly that, but managed to find the fairway bunker. It's a postage stamp, it's tiny. However, this time we dodged it. We actually drove over it. I want to go for 2 pitching wedge shots here. 200 yards left to the green, 1 that takes me left of the trees, 1 that gets me on the green. However, this one decides it's going to the trees. So we have to go for a low 7 iron, bump and run out the other side and avoid the bushes. And we sort of get there, it just doesn't roll out as much as we'd like, and we're left right on the edge of the green for short Texas wedge. Give it a good whack. Apparently not a good enough whack. Still leaves us in the middle of the green, so we've got another very long putt to come. To compensate for how short that left, we gave it more whack. It no longer needed more whack, and now we run long and it gets saved by the fringe going out the far side. Put it back in again, and we haven't taken into account the break that caused all that weird distance play before. This hole, after that drive, deserved a better finish, but again, comes down to patience. 15th is a par 3, so we're an 8 iron off the tee. Beautiful distance, flies all the way, lands right on the front edge of the green, gets ready to roll on. No, never mind, it's kicked right and we're falling off the edge down into the bushes. Ball is lost. Find a new one, drop it on the edge, gentle chip back up into the green. Perfect finish, lovely putt. Shame about the lost ball, again. On to the 16th. It's getting a bit dark now, but we're still confident in the big stick. It's bullet straight, however, very right. No swerve to it, just a perfect straight line back onto the tee box for the 4th hole. And it went even further than we expected. It took us a while to find it, but we did get there because it went nearly 290 yards. Get it set up on the tee box, chip it back towards, and it clips the top of the tree and falls short. Now trying to be cautious to avoid these two greenside bunkers, and we just don't land it far enough. And then we play the game of let's chip too far all the way over the back of the green again, so it rolls off the far side. Set up our camera person and try and murder them with the ball. Kudos to them for not flinching. And once more we're playing ping pong back over the entirety of the green. Then in our fear of continuing to play ping pong, we're not hitting it hard enough, and we're just rushing as I'm worried about the daylight, wanting to make sure we get the whole 18 holes done, and really not putting the time or the thought into these shots that I should do. Rushing all the putts, rushing all the chips, and yeah, ultimately just tanking the scorecard. 17, last chance for the big stick. It's gone well for the rest of the game, and now we scuff the floor and ruin it. Why? On the last one, why? It's been doing so well. Either way, we went about 100 yards, so we get out the 5-wood, and what a shot! Straight into the trees behind the driving range. Lost ball. Drop it, and get us enough, so another good shot that gets us not quite far enough down to the green, but a good rollout. Ship it over the bunker. We play safe by going to the right side of the green here. Gives us a long putt to bring it back in, but at least we're putting on the fair surface. It is downhill. We read it nicely, give it good weight, but not quite enough. Still leaves us a fairly long putt to clean it up for 7, and we don't land it. Just don't quite read the break enough, and it goes a bit too far. It's a bit long on the far side, but we do put it back in nicely for another 8. Final hole. It's too short for the driver, so we get out the 6-iron again. Done us well, and it does us well again. Fortunately, I'm stood right in front of the shot tracer, so we can't see, but it hogs this left-hand side and gives us a good line in. Second shot is also decent. Doesn't quite get us far enough, and it's hard to see because of how dark it is right now. The camera makes it look brighter, and we find a ball graveyard. These are all range balls around me that have, gone walkabouts, but I duff the floor. Doesn't go far enough at all. Go for another one. Get good height on this because it is on a raised green, but you see just on the left edge of the screen, doesn't quite make it enough distance. Chip it on up and on, and again it doesn't roll out. It's more height, no forwards. Give it a long putt, and again, the game's gone at this point. My head's gone. The putt is way out of left field. Leaves me with another long one for 7. Don't give it enough because I'm just completely finished. Put it away for 8. Want to forget this round.
So there you have it. Shot well over 120, lost a lot of balls, found a few, but lost a lot of balls. Some points to learn from, some points to work on. I think you can now all see why I've got a putting week scheduled, a 5 hybrid week scheduled, and a 5 wood week scheduled. Although, to be fair, there were some good 5 wood shots in amongst all of that. So which one of those we focus on next? I haven't quite decided. It'll be one of those 3 for the next couple of weeks, but we'll get some practice in. We'll hone those down, and hopefully we can start to bring that score down ready for Portugal. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Drop a like, drop a subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. It really does help out and really does. I really do appreciate it. But otherwise, have a great week, and I'll see you next time.